Third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. Here's some crazy research for you. So a third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. Here's some crazy research for you. So a third of men, 33%, a little over a third, of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner. Even if you weren't to remarry, just to have a partner. I mean, I've talked to a lot of men. I've got my answers, but I want to hear it in the comments. So please.
More of these videos, and honestly, it makes me sad because guys have told women why. We've made it very clear why we're walking away. And we're walking away in droves, and it's only going to get worse because you're not hearing why we're walking away. It's very simple. Don't read between the lines. Hear these words. There is absolutely no benefit anymore to being in a relationship with a woman for a man. None. Zero. Zilch. Especially when you consider the risk compared to any potential reward. Roughly 55% of marriages end in divorce, and the guy loses everything. Add into it all the relationships where they weren't married, and the guy lost access to his kids and had to pay mountains of child support, and so on. When you really look at it, there's less than a 1 in 4 chance of having a successful relationship. Would you risk everything you have? Would you risk your children and having access to them, knowing you only had a 25% chance of success? I doubt it. Add to it the expectations that today's women have are beyond absurd. We all joke about the sixes, but the reality is that is most women's expectation. You expect men to give, and offer nothing in return. I'm not saying any of this to be mean, but I am being blunt in hopes you'll hear it, because we've said it over and over and over again. And yet, you're still asking us, why are you walking away? That, in a nutshell, is the crux of the problem. You ask us, but you don't want to hear the response. And if you hear it, you don't want to accept it. My honest advice to you ladies is this. Get a mirror, look in it, and ask yourselves, what are we offering to men? Why should men want to be with us? And if your answer is things like you have a great career or job, or that you're going to cook and clean, none of that matters to us. Not in the least. What matters to us? Peace, loyalty, and acknowledgement. Something very, very few women give to their man. And until you're willing to give that, until you're willing to set aside your ridiculous expectations, those numbers you mentioned.
Now, this is no diss, but it's funny that she even has to ask why after a man has said, I need my peace. I feel like that's enough in itself. But let's break it down. Number one, some women aren't looking for a significant other. They're not looking for a partner. They're just looking for a man that is willing to take care of them and spend money on them and finance a lifestyle. You have another set of women that are just very selfish and they only think about themselves. They only want their feelings heard and they only want their emotions to be taken into place. Once that man starts to vocalize the things that he needs and the things he wants, he's not understood and or that woman just doesn't care to listen. My third one is role playing. Every relationship is different. Everyone's relationship and roles in their relationship is going to look different. But please understand, you need to play a role in your relationship to benefit that other person. A lot of the problems men are seeing is, well, you just want to rely on me for everything. You just want to count on me for everything. Can I rely on you for anything? Because if the only thing you're going to do is be a liability and you're not an asset to this relationship, how about I just get rid of the liability and just worry about me, myself, and I and now I don't have as much.
The answer is porn. The reason why so many guys would rather be single and don't even try to look for women anymore and like, oh, dating is dead, is because of porn. Now, I saw some people saying like, oh, the dating market is messed up and, you know, it's really hard for men and girls have a lot of expectations. And I'm not saying there isn't any validity in that, but the number one reason is because guys don't have to go out there to satisfy their urges, to satisfy that part of them that wants a woman. So here's the thing, right? Getting a girlfriend is hard enough, right? You have to go out, put in effort, take them on dates, talk to girls, face rejection, all that stuff. But getting a hot girlfriend who maybe is a good person is even harder, right? You're gonna have to be exceptional in some way if you want an exceptionally attractive woman. So here's what happens, okay? 99% of men, like 99% watch these explicit videos. And these girls in these videos are very attractive. So when you're having virtual intercourse with these girls, you start thinking that those are the type of girls you need to go for in real life. Whether you're lazy, fat, broke, unimproved, whatever, every single guy now thinks that, oh, I need to date at least a 7 out of 10. So not only are men's standards way too high from the videos that they watch, but you guys gotta understand, people would fight wars over women. Like, people would literally lose an arm or a leg for the chance to start a family and reproduce. Like, that's how we're biologically wired. Do you know what would happen if porn was banned, like, right now at this very moment? Like, let's just say, snap, it doesn't even exist anymore. The single rates would go back to what they were before porn existed. That's what would happen. Every guy who's going, oh yeah, I don't even need a girlfriend, I'm happy on my own, because they're watching porn every day, would suddenly realize within 3 days, oh man, now I don't have these hot girls online to satisfy my urges. Now I have to actually go out and talk to women. And the crazy part is that there is way more problems that porn causes than just this, but this is just like one of the problems that we see nowadays because of it.
I don't know about anyone else. I found this video really funny. The creator, Jen, cites some studies and surveys that indicate that a growing number of men are checking out of dating altogether. They are single and they are committed to remaining single. They're not looking for girlfriends or wives, and they're not dating. They have just committed to being single for the rest of their lives. And then very reasonably, she asks the question, why are men doing this? Why are these men checked out completely? And she acknowledges she's received answers, that men are trying to protect their peace, that men are happy with their lives and not looking to disrupt that. And this is the part that's hilarious to me. She follows that by saying, not good enough, I have more questions. Talk more. Tell me more. Explain more. Justify yourself more. And I feel like she's answering her own question there. Men told her they were tired of having to justify themselves and explain themselves, and they were tired of things being demanded of them, and she said, no, that's not good enough, I demand more. It's like the call's coming from inside the house.
So I eventually want that old happy relationship, married life, kids, the whole 9 yards. Sorry, I just woke up. But the dating scene now, currently as it stands, I'm very happy with just staying single. And the reason that is, like this creator was asking, is just because the energy is not reciprocated. A lot of people are asking for the princess treatment, but heaven forbid that we ask for prince treatment, because that just doesn't exist, right? Because we just aren't worthy of anything, apparently. I don't know. A lot of the times our hobbies are not even validated anymore as well. Where, if we like video games, oh, that's such a childish thing to like. You need to grow out of it and grow up and be a man. Liking sports is childish. Liking Star Wars is childish. And all these different hobbies that we men have are deemed childish, and we need to grow up and grow out of. Because at the end of the day, for me to actually want to be in a relationship, I'm going to need a teammate in all aspects of life. What does being a teammate mean in a relationship? That it's literally being a teammate. I mean, you're happy to be a part of that team. You claim that is your boyfriend. You're proud of that being your boyfriend, and you're like excited, and you are still chasing after your boyfriend. Like it's known, and it's a common aspect that the guy always chases the girl, but that energy is not reciprocated ever. And my favorite fact is that all the strongest relationships that I see, celebrity or just friends or whatever, is when both are being chased by the other, when both are teammates to one another, when both reciprocate each other's energy. And the way that the dating scene is right now, that's not there. It's not even being offered. And until it's going to be offered, that the energy is going to be reciprocated, I'm going to stay single. And until that moment, I will just be happy watching Avatar by myself, okay? Watching Star Wars, watching Lord of the Rings, going hiking, going camping, going to sporting events. I'm totally okay with doing that by myself. Because until that energy is reciprocated, I'm good. Thanks.
Because I'm saving money. Before you guys continue this video, click on the Stitched name and go watch her video and then come back. A lot of people are choosing to be single rather than be in a relationship for a number of reasons, actually. One of the reasons is because they're probably heartbroken and they're choosing a path of healing. I'm sure a lot of us know that when it comes to being on a path of healing, that it could take some time to actually feel comfortable with wanting to put yourself out there in the dating world. Another reason is because maybe they weren't heartbroken. Maybe they just feel like the relationship or the marriage, there's really no sense of direction of where it's going. Both people may have different goals in life, and so they separate, and now they choose a path of fulfillment. But in both cases, again, this is just my perspective, I think what is a major issue is a lack of communication and maybe even lack of effort. But something happens too when a person chooses a path of healing or chooses a path of fulfillment or both. Something happens. They get comfortable with being alone. After they spend so much time healing from the past relationship or marriage, it doesn't even have to be toxic or unhealthy. They spend so much time being alone that they get comfortable with being alone. So why do they feel comfortable with being single and being alone? Why do they feel comfortable with it? A lot of reasons. They're saving money. They're doing the things they want to do. They're meeting new people. They're accomplishing goals, dreams, etc. They have spent so much time, whether it's a path of healing, path of fulfillment, or both, whatever. They spent so much time putting time and energy into themselves. They have finally developed self-worth, self-love, and they don't have to just give their time and energy to somebody else, just thinking that maybe, who knows what that relationship could turn into. It could turn into something toxic, or it could just simply end. They don't want to just settle for anybody. They don't want to settle. Lack of communication. People get comfortable with being alone. Whether it's because people are heartbroken or they choose a path of fulfillment or both. People just start finally realizing that life is a lot simpler. It's less expensive, less dramatic, everything, with just being alone and single. Now, I am a divorced parent, single father of 2 kids. I have been single for a little over a year and a half now, with no commitment to anybody. At first, in the beginning, it was lonely, but after time went by, just focusing on myself, being a parent, just doing the things I want to do, getting my life together, you get comfortable with being alone. And you don't want to spend a lot of your time and energy giving to somebody else. Because, yes, it feels nice to give when you're in a relationship, but you also start to realize that you feel a lot better with giving to yourself. Because all that time and energy and giving that you do in a relationship, you do that while you give that to yourself being single. And you notice, and people get comfortable. They think that, like, wow, I don't really need to be in a relationship anymore. I'm so comfortable with being single. I can give to myself. I can show up for myself. And I have that relationship with self to where I don't need to jeopardize or risk or put myself in any kind of predicament of getting myself into a relationship, of giving my time and energy, or even financially speaking. But yes, a huge reason why a lot of people choose to stay single too is lack of communication. because people aren't really communicating their own feelings and emotions to the significant other or a potential prospect for being a significant other. They're not communicating. But one thing I've came to realize too, with talking with thousands and thousands of people about relationship trouble or advice, etc., here on TikTok, one thing I've gathered about people in relationships or being single is that people are just so misunderstood. People are so misunderstood. Again, and that ties into when someone's feeling misunderstood, they just don't want to put in the time and effort and energy to be giving to somebody else when they know that they can just give to themselves. Honestly, the statistics of what the lady was talking about here, who knows what the future fucking holds, man. I mean, who knows what the actual stats show. I mean, it could have just been somebody who's just calculating their own research. I mean, where's that research coming from? I mean, I don't know. All I can say is me as a single father, been single for a year and a half now, I can say that life is very peaceful. This is just a little bit of my perspective, but her question, why do people choose to be single rather than be in a relationship? There is so much that you can unpack in that single question. So this is just my perspective. This is just my view of getting to know people, thousands of people throughout the years. So I hope this video helps. Maybe shine some light on some things.
Opinion down below what you think, and don't forget to subscribe, turn on notification. Anytime I upload, you will be notified. Stay blessed and